8 albums in and still going strong. We're catching up with Chris Young this week on Today's Country, celebrating his new album, Famous Friends. We're going to chat about how a huge Nashville snowstorm is actually responsible for a handful of the songs on this album, and how it is, in fact, chock full of famous friends. I just want to start with 8 albums in. What do you know now that you didn't know 5 albums ago?
You know what? That it's okay to take chances on stuff. It's okay to do something different than you did on an album before. I definitely know more people. One of the reasons that I named this album Famous Friends is not just, the collabs with Mitchell and Kane, obviously with the title track, and Lauren Elena, but also, all the songwriters, the musicians, people that I had helped me co-produce some of these tracks. I don't know all those people when I started my career. I don't know that I'm comfortable enough to go, hey, I'm gonna do something really different and just see if it works.
I don't think it works to make music for validation, but I do think there's a very important thing that has to happen when you have a vision. You have to have some affirmation. Like, you got to get those first few people who are like, oh yeah, like that's it. And that was a minute ago. Like, that's a really important moment in your career that's kind of setting you free to go, God, I can trust my gut, or yeah, I've got great taste, or whatever it is, and then that sort of sets you free in a really powerful way.
I completely agree. And I'll tell you the reverse of that. What's really funny is, so Corey and I and Carrie Barlow write Famous Friends. We're on the road. We kept all the guitar tracks, all the bass tracks are all Carrie, line into a computer on a bus, which is just wild, but that's what we ended up doing. So we track this song, it's done. We put it out, but the week before, I've played this song for a bunch of people, and some people are like, that's good. Most people are like, we love it. I played it for the one friend that's like, nah, man, not it. And you can take
so hard.
Hey, I asked you for your opinion, which I did, and you told me the truth, which is how I took it. But then I got to spin it at the end to him. Now, every time I see him, I'm like, hey, remember that song you hated?
Yeah, tell me it's an artist. Let's call him out. That's funny, though. There's a thing where our brains, for every negative comment, you need 10 pause. It's a number like that. So it's of course, the one person who's like, I don't see it. And then you're sitting with that. Tell me this, though. This song has gone on to be a massive song. Did you see that coming, though?
I mean, you always hope for that. I cross my fingers every time I put a song out, regardless of where it ends up chart position wise. You want it to be something that resonates with people, something that they're putting in their list of favorite songs of that year, something that they're, streaming and purchasing to the point where you get a plaque on the wall. It's an important part of that process. We're creating art. You don't need the affirmation, like you said. You don't need that validation from people, but you also still want it. Mm-hmm. And so it's finding that happy medium of the two things, of what you have to say, how you want to say it, and then also resonating with other people. So I don't know if we had any idea it was going to be this big of a hit, that it was going to be a multi-week number one and, really take off. And it's, one of the most played songs so far this year and in country, which is just wild, but it's fun.
Let's talk about At the End of a Bar featuring Mitchell Tenpenny.
Yeah. So we've been friends for a while. And actually we've probably hung out way more times than we've written songs, but we'd booked this date, and all of a sudden it dumps, a ton of ice, not snow. It's in Nashville, it's just ice normally is what we get. And for a couple days, it was hard to leave your driveway. So I hit him up day 3, which is when we were supposed to write. And I was like, hey man, do you want to cancel? He goes, no. He goes, I've kind of got this FOMO of what if we're going to write something really cool today? I was like, I feel you. Like, I'm down. I'm good to go, but I just don't want you to feel like you have to go if you need to reschedule. He's like, no, let's go do it. And it's actually a huge credit to Mitchell, because I was just talking, Mitchell, myself, and Chris DiStefano, who's my co-producer on this track. We're all talking about like how me and Mitchell met. And I was like, oh, I mean, we were sitting there the other day at the end of a bar, and Mitchell just goes, that's the song. And I'm like, what? And I'm normally really good about hearing people in conversation say something that I'm like, oh, I can twist that into a song title. And I missed that one completely. And he was just like, dude, sometimes that's where it all starts, at the end of a bar. And me and DiStefano were just like, all right, yeah, let's do that. So I had him sing a couple passages just so I could hear the song at the end. And then I sang my passes, and then I reached out to him probably a week later. It's like, man, can I let him put us together on this song? Like, what do you think about that? And he was like, dude, I'm in. And when I turned it into the label, they were like, this has to go on the record. This has to be like something that we come with as a single. So it was really, really cool. And it was, an overused word, but very organic and just a lot of fun. And that's been the whole case for this whole record. It may have taken a little longer than it normally does for me to go from album to album, but I wouldn't take back that time for anything, because it's allowed this whole record to become what it is. It's something that I'm proud of.